Welcome to the Original Gangsters podcast. I'm your host, Scott Burnstein. We are going to talk about Joey Merlino and the Philly Mafia and drugs, specifically cocaine, and an allegation that was made this week on an interview. Patrick Bet-David's Valuetainment. John Gotti Jr. did a 4-hour interview. Or 340 or something, 345. Recommend it if you're interested in a deep dive into the life of the Gottis. And he was presented a question regarding people on YouTube or MobTube that have been showing Gotti, Junior Gotti's 302 debriefing documents. I don't want to get into the whole what those debriefing documents mean. Did he debrief? That could be a whole 10-hour podcast. I'll just say this. 302s in modern era, the last 25, 30 years are a lot different than what 302s were kind of created for. And there's a lot of 302s that can be open for interpretation. That's all I will say. It's not necessarily a written in stone that this person cooperated. It definitely is written in stone that person had a conversation with the federal government, but it doesn't mean that they necessarily gave up names or ratted or what have you. Sorry, it's my bulldog Chunky. So within the interview, Patrick Bet-David asked Gotti Jr. what he thought about people sharing his 302s. And without mentioning Joey Merlino's name, and Merlino on his podcast has been showing Gotti's 302s, he referred to Merlino apparently as a has-been cokehead jockey, but disparaging him as well as other people that have been promoting him as promoting Gotti Jr. as a cooperator and informant. And I wanted to talk a little bit about what we know about Merlino and Merlino's crew when it comes to recreational drug use. We know that they have, just recently, one of his proteges, Dom Grande, took a racketeering pinch that included narcotics trafficking. He's doing 6 years in prison right now. We know that Joey Merlino at one point in time was under indictment and went to trial on cocaine trafficking charges and was acquitted. He beat that case. We've never heard publicly allegations of Merlino specifically using cocaine. We have heard rumors of other people in his crew using cocaine, as well as their girlfriends and wives, specifically his longtime underboss, handsome Stevie Mazzone. Testimony came out in their RICO trial in the early 2000s that Mazzone liked to dabble in cocaine recreationally. We know that Young Turks faction back in the 90s, they lived fast, and they lived in a fast lane. And when you live in a fast lane, I think there are going to be substances. Merlino today, he's 62. He lives like he's 22. I'm not casting any dispersions. I'm just kind of speaking the truth. We know he likes to drink. We know he likes to smoke cigarettes. Not sure where Gotti Jr. got the cocaine allegation from. I'm guessing when he says has been, he's talking about the fact that, according to Jerry Capacey, Merlino was pushed out of power in the last year, shelved from his godfather status in the Philadelphia Mafia. We here at Original Gangsters, as well as our companion web magazine, Gangster Report, categorize it more as a restructuring. And possibly there was pressure being put on from multiple sides in this whole thing. But we've always said that Merlino tapped out, gave up the seat voluntarily, was not pushed out. I guess it's up for debate where the truth is. And so I'm guessing that's where the has been comment comes from. Jockey, we all know that Joey, early in his life, in his teen years, was an actual professional horse jockey. And but we don't have any definitive anecdotes or factual recollections of Joey Merlino using cocaine. So I really just wanted to clear this up. Yes, he parties hard. Yes, he drinks a lot, and yes, he smokes a lot of cigarettes. We don't know about the cocaine use. I will say that I've been told that the social circle that he was in 30 years ago, social circle that he's in now, I do believe that there is cocaine use amongst some people. It doesn't mean it's Joey. It's just, again, it's the crowd that parties 24/7. You're just always going to find substances, and Joey likes to party and likes to be out on the town, likes to stay out late. Talk to a lot of people that hang out with him, and they say, they have a hard time keeping up with him. He likes to burn the candle at both ends and enjoys the nightlife. But I'm a little surprised that this part of the Patrick Bet-David interview has not gotten the attention that I thought it would. I've put a spotlight on it. There are a lot of people out there that want to carry Joey's water, that want to shape narratives to his benefit. So I think a lot of the content producers have stayed away from this, not wanting to upset him. But we're always going to give you the truth, the unadulterated, raw facts and the truth here. We're about news and analysis. We're not about spin. And this was, to me, one of the biggest takeaways out of that 3.5 hours, without naming Merlino without saying the name Joey Merlino or Skinny Joey. This is one former boss calling another former boss a drug addict, for lack of a better term. Obviously, Junior Gotti is firing back. So, you come from that place. There are obviously motives, I guess, for him to disparage Joey, even if he's not being, if in theory he wanted to be untruthful and wanted to just throw mud in Joey's direction. But we've never heard this before. I've never heard Joey be referred to as a cokehead before. Definitely, I said, 20 years ago, or a little bit more than 20 years ago, Ralph Natale, the former boss, the turncoat, told everyone that Stevie Mazzone was liked to use cocaine, and had gotten kind of a little bit out of control with it. And there were allegations made towards that whole female crew of Joey's wife and other wives that like to party and smoke marijuana and allegedly partake in cocaine use. So, in terms of Junior Gotti, I've never, nobody's ever heard of cocaine use, but definitely steroid use, steroid abuse, steroid sales. We're talking about contraband. John Gotti Jr.'s whole crew back in the day were all, big workout guys and hitting the gym guys. And a lot of them were moving steroids. A lot of them were doing steroids. So just wanted to clear that up and address it, because I don't see it being addressed. And I'm not trying to stir the pot, but I thought it was of note. I thought it was newsworthy, and I just wanted to get it out there. Again, you can take from it what you want. It's two guys, former major league superstars in the world of Cosa Nostra. Never really did business together. They're I don't believe. I mean, the regimes definitely did. I've never really heard of Junior Gotti and Merlino doing business in the 90s together. Merlino went to prison when Junior Gotti was fighting his case and went to trial like 4 or 5 times. And then since they've come out, Junior Gotti kind of retired. And then when Joey got out, he moved down to South Florida and was still involved until the last year, for a year and a half. And again, we can debate his exit, but we're not going to do that. We're not going to debate Junior Gotti's 302s. We're just here to report the news, which is that Junior Gotti labeled Joey Merlino a cokehead. And that's a pretty serious allegation. And it needed to be spoken about more so than just that little 5 seconds in the interview that seems to have been glossed over by everybody. So I just wanted to address it. And we're not into the whole mob tube drama here. And I wouldn't have addressed this if it was at a smaller scale, but I felt like it was a big enough allegation that needed to be addressed. So please like, share, and subscribe. OG Pod, spread the word. Hit the Patreon if you want, members only. OG Patreon, where we're doing a travel blog. We do a little bit more analysis, a little more storytelling, and I've been teasing this out for a while. Hopefully I'll have more details soon. We're going to do some Q&As with some LCN guys that have never told their story before. So hopefully we'll have news for that in the next week. And keep on checking back here at OG Pod. We're on top of the underworld in North America 24/7, all breaking news. Whenever it happens, we got it for you. Uncovering the underworld, one city, one region, one country at a time. I'm Scott Burnstein, OG Pod.